Oh, hey, good evening.
There we
Hey,
are. We're back.
almost like we know what we're doing.
Almost. A reasonable hand-drawn facsimile, as it were.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of astronomy edutainment, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show.
Yay!
My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay. I am an amateur astronomer and a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. Hey. I'm very pleased to introduce my two co-hosts this evening, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moonshot Observatory in beautiful Hampton. Paul, good evening.
Hello.
Hello. And also my other co-host this evening, Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. Mike.
Hi-ho.
Hello.
Not beautiful.
I'd like to welcome all of you tonight out here on YouTube and Facebook land, and all of you who are joining us through the Rogers TV network. Thank you for your support. Okay, so tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, episode 197.
Wow, he's getting there.
We're getting there.
He's getting there.
Now, a man once said, I can eat an elephant one bite at a time. Learning the night sky doesn't have to be complicated. We just break the sky up into manageable pieces, and we learn about the treasures inside them. That's why we try each month to cover a constellation, and our expert on constellations and their treasures, Curt Nason, will join us this evening to talk about the constellation Auriga. Good evening, Curt.
Good day from the back deck, Al Fresco Observatory.
Okay. We're also going to have another Bino Bud target for you to check out. Paul will provide us another interesting Rosanna's fun facts this evening. We'll talk a little bit about the upcoming Geminid Meteor Shower, which comes up Thursday, Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday? Wednesday, Thursday, Curt?
Thursday,
Friday. Thursday, Friday. Okay. We'll talk a little bit about that, and that's really our best meteor shower show of the year because we have no moon that with very small moon that evening, which will help. And I'll also have all of your wonderful photo submissions to share. Okay, so this evening, so let's get started with Mr. Curt Nason on the constellation of Auriga.
Okay. So right about now here in New Brunswick, we happen to step outside and look above the clouds. We can see that Gemini and Orion are just rising out of bed. They probably had their coffee here, getting ready for their nightly trek across the sky, and probably haven't showered yet, but they get that later on, apparently. Right above them is Auriga. Now, about 4,000 years ago or so, Auriga was looked at as a chariot. And of course, you can see a chariot in this. If you can't, there's a name for people who can't see a chariot there. It's called normal. And so after a while, they got rid of the chariot, and now it's just a charioteer. He's walking, the chariot must be in the shop or something. Right, so there's why is there a chariot in this guy? Well, there are a few stories about that, mainly from Greek, and I got a couple from, say, indigenous North America. And you might be wondering why there's a goat up there too, and some other goats. That's all part of some of the stories. Now, one of the main stories on that was in the place of Elis in ancient Greece, and there's a king there. His name was Enomus, and he had a beautiful daughter. Of course, kings always have beautiful daughters, princesses. Her name was Hippodamia. Now, Paul, please correct me if I don't pronounce these correctly. So there'd be a lot of guys that were looking for to get married to Hippodamia, but the king, he had been forecast that his son-in-law would kill him. Right, so in order to make sure of that, he wanted to make sure his daughter never got married. It's a common theme there in a lot of Greek mythology. So anybody that would come to court his daughter, the king would make them race him in a chariot race. Now, the king had the finest horses, the finest chariot you could get, and is very good at driving a chariot. And of course, he would always win. And if he won, then he got to kill the guy that was coming to court his daughter. So nobody ever lived through that one. So one day, well, actually, there's the chariot, the guy that looks after the chariots there. His name was Myrtilus, and he had a thing for the daughter as well, but he was just a lowly stable hand, more or less, and he was a limousine driver, more or less, driving the chariot for the king. They wanted to take him around somewhere. And so he kind of liked Epidemia, but she wouldn't have anything to do with him because of his position. And one day along comes this guy named Pelops, and he's actually the son of Hermes or Mercury. And he claimed that he had some noble birth like that. And she fell in love with him, and then they were going to have they wanted to get married, but they knew that he would have to race against his father. And the king was very good at this. And even though Pelops was a pretty good driver himself, and he could probably get a very good chariot to match him up, they didn't want to take any chances. So Hippodamia, being a schemer, she and Pelops got together, and she knew that this Myrtilus had a thing for her. So she went to talk to him, and so they arranged that if he would take the pins out of the king's chariot just before the race, the chariot probably have an accident. And if he did that and the king died, she could marry Pelops. So she offered herself to Myrtilus just for the first night. And of course, he took that up. So time for the race, and he pulled the pins out of the chariot. And of course, as soon as the race started and he got up to speed, the chariot fell apart, the king went rolling across the ground and died. Right? So the two lovers there were very happy about that. So they took Myrtilus off in the chariot and took him out for a picnic and they drove up to the seashore up on this cliff. And they had a good time. Then when the Myrtilus started demanding his reward, Pelops pushed him off the cliff and he died. And sort of commemorate that, that's one reason why they put a chariot up in the sky. There's another one that makes a little bit more sense, is Eratosthenes. He was the son of Hephaestus. Hephaestus was the god of the forge. His Roman counterpart was Vulcan, and he was the son of Zeus and Hera. And he and Athena had a son, and skip the stuff I can't talk about there, but how that son came about. But their son, this Eratosthenes, he was lame as well. Like he inherited the lameness from his father. And he's going to be a very famous person. He invented the four-wheel chariot. The racing ones wound up with two wheels, but he invented the first chariot. And to commemorate that, Zeus put the chariot up there in the sky. And another one, which sort of leads into what we might talk about later on here, there was a guy named Phaethon, and his father was Apollo, or Helios. And his mother was a mortal woman. And he tricked his father Apollo into letting him drive the sun chariot across. So they had the chariot with these four huge horses running across the sky along the ecliptic. That was carry the sun across the sky like that. And Apollo had made the promise that he could have any wish he wanted. And when that was his wish, he tried to talk him out of it, but no, the sun said, no, Phaethon. He said, no, I got to do this. And so they let him go, but he wasn't nearly as strong as his father was, and he couldn't control the horses. And so the horses took off across the sky, went up very high and scorched the sky, and that's why we have the Milky Way. They came down close to the earth and scorched the land down there. That's where the Sahara Desert came from. And the horses got scared by going by the monsters in the sky like Scorpius. And finally, Zeus was watching this and he decided, well, we're going to have a horrible accident here on the earth. So he took his thunderbolt and zapped Phaethon and knocked him down, and he fell to the earth and died. Right. So to commemorate that, they put the chariot up into the sky. Now, in legends here in say North America, the Apache, they have three who went together, and we're looking at here these three. There's Capella, and these two stars in here, which are called the Kids. And these are two sisters, and they fell in love with the same man. So they all get married. So that man had two wives. And they were exemplary folks. They did everything right. They were very kind and generous to everybody. And people can look up to them as this is what everybody should be like. But one of the sisters got sick and died. And rather than the two just go on like that, the creator had watched that, and he decided, I think all three of them should go up into the spirit world. So he took the dead woman and the other two, he put them up into the sky so that people could see them up there and see that this is how you should run your life, the way they have lived like that. Another one happens in BC and northwestern United States. And the Thompson people in BC and the Coeur d'Alene in the United States. And there are a bunch of women here that go out and collect roots at a certain time of year when the roots would be ready for eating. And they dig this earth oven. So they dig a big hole in there, put the roots in there, put some rocks in, start a fire, and keep putting stuff on the fire like that. So they're cooking the roots. So Auriga to them is called women roasting roots. And so it comes from that. And apparently the men were forbidden to come anywhere near that, because if they got near the fire like that, the roots weren't cooked properly. So that's all. Another story is, I'm looking at this. All right, why is there a goat up here? Well, it's might be two things that join together. There's a goat, some goats that are famous in Greek mythology, and one of them is Zeus. He was suckled by a goat. Now his father, his father would be Saturn in Roman mythology. Saturn had heard that he would be usurped by one of his sons, and just as he is usurped his father Uranus, right? They get rid of him, as castrated him, and he took over. He was the first of the mighty Titans. And any of his kids that got born, he would eat them. So the kids wouldn't grow up, and none of them would kill him and take over. Now Rhea, his wife, once she gave birth to Zeus, she didn't want him eaten as well. So she took him away somewhere before the father could find out. And Cronus, the guy's name, and she bundled up some rocks in some swaddling clothes and gave that to Cronus to eat. He didn't know the difference. He just gobbled it up. And so on a farm area, Zeus was raised by a mother goat called Amalthea. And she suckled him and actually broke one of her horns off there at one time. And he made it a magic horn, which came to be known as the cornucopia, which you see in Thanksgiving times. And so that's one of the reasons that we have a goat. So here's a charioteer. He's driving a goat. And the mother goat is represented by Capella up here, the sixth brightest star in the sky. Now this is Capella means she goat. So there are a lot of words starting with Cap, like Capricornus, the sea goat, capricious, things like that. They come from the root word for goat. And down here, he's got the goat up on his shoulder. And here's the shoulder of Auriga in here, Magdalena, that's the second brightest star in the constellation. Magdalena means the shoulder of the reins. So he's holding the reins there and actually in his other arm there now. All right, so down in here, we have two stars. And these are the names. Zaclatini and Hades. Now these were baby goats, or the kids. So these got known to be the kids. Now Hades means storm gale or storm winds. And if you remember from we talked about last month about Taurus, we had the Hyades. And the Hyades were a sort of a harbinger of when these big storms would be coming up in ancient Greece, and storms would be too strong for them to go out on the boat. So that was the end of their sailing season, when the Hyades were rising up at a certain time. So the same thing with this, only it's maybe because of the similarity between the two names they got confused. So Hades means storm gale, and the two together were named the Hyades. And in the last century or two, the brighter one up here, this is Epsilon Aurigae, and it's called Almaeus. That is now also considered part of the kids as well. So we have three baby goats in here. So here's the guy driving a chariot, mother goat on the shoulder, three baby goats in one arm, driving it probably with one arm, one hand. And It'd be sort of like the texting when you're driving from back 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. And okay, I think that's all stop there. That's more or less the stories there. So we maybe go on to something else and come back and we'll talk about what we can see here in Auriga.
Awesome. Thanks, Curt.
You're welcome.
I know what I can see is don't get involved with chariots. 'Cause you're gonna
Good point. Good point.
Man, everybody gets involved. The chariot ends up dead.
Are these all true stories, Curt? Like, are they?
Well, it's hard to say, as probably they made up a mythology as sort of meant to explain things in nature and the nature of people, things like that. When they see things in the sky, it seems, okay, this looks like this. Now we need a story to fit it.
Yeah.
And by telling the stories, then people can remember and they can relate them to things in nature. So
Great
the same
bedtime
thing
stories.
everywhere.
Great bedtime
Right.
stories. You want to give your kid nightmares, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
make up your own.
Thanks, Curt. Okay, we're gonna come back to that. And we don't have a look at what's in there as far as treasures go. But right now we're gonna go to Bino Bud.
I don't know, but
What's Bino Bud got up this week?
alrighty. Binocular target of the week this week by Bino Bud is. Are we ready for this? Kimball's Cascade. In up the night sky. You think that's good? Well, you hear me trying to pronounce the next bunch of words here. Okay. Oh, by the way, no copy and paste in the screen, people. So Kimball's Cascade is an asterism located in the constellation Camelopardalis. Here it goes. Snuffleupagus. Camelopardalis. Is that close enough? Camelopardalis?
Good enough.
Okay.
No,
It's an apparent straight line, anyway, of more than 20 colorful 5th to 10th magnitude stars over a distance of approximately 3 degrees. It appears to flow into a compact open cluster NGC 1502, which can be found at one end. So, how do I find it in the sky? Well, if it was clear tonight, like we haven't had lately, but you stepped out at 9 o'clock, oriented yourself 45 degrees northeast and looked up, you'll see Perseus. You probably see where am I?
Cassiopeia.
Cassiopeia, and look, the corner of Auriga. And what you want to do is find the W of Cassiopeia, those two bottom stars of the W or the two top stars in the M, if you want to call it that, and draw a straight line down all the way through. It'll bring you right to that NGC 1502, and you'll cut right through Kimball's Cascade. Or you look at Perseus on this one arm and can follow those two stars and come down at the same angle, and guess what? It'll cut you right across in front of Kimball's Cascade as well. So that's where you would find it in the sky. You see how I drew the line there? And there's Kimball's Cascade right in this area, right in here. So you can come right off of Cassiopeia and find it every time. What will you see? Well, you're going to not really see this because this is a beautiful picture of it, but you're going to definitely see this straight line of stars. And that's why they call it that. It cascades down. It's a beautiful line of stars. 10 by 50 binoculars. Look at this. Just a string coming down from the sky. It's awesome. And if you wanted to look at it from a different perspective, it could be an upside down hockey stick, and NGC 1502 could be the puck because it comes down in a little shot to the side. Compared to the full moon, it's going to be at least 5 full moons in length. So it's a big object, easy to find in a good pair of 10 by 50 binoculars, and you'll enjoy it. Here, you ready for this one, Paul?
I'm ready.
How does the man on the moon get his hair cut? Eclipse it.
I think we should go back to that first picture.
Oh my.
that's
I'm
but
never gonna forget that picture. It's, you know how you get a song in your head, they call it an earworm? Well, now I got an eye worm.
Lisa says, going for those ratings, eh?
family friendly.
Nice man boobs. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it.
Oh, that was priceless.
Okay. Yeah, house prices are right. You gotta warn us about those ones, Mike. Oh, sorry, guys.
The kids are gonna have nightmares. Oh,
Right.
right.
I've been sick the last couple of weeks, so I'm trying to shake this, but if you see me go off air here, I got a cough. Okay, Curt, let's go back to what's the treasures that we're going to find in there, sir.
Okay, back after that commercial break for Cascade Soap.
See, he got what the picture was all about.
All right, here in Capella, we got lots of star clusters and a few other things in here to see. Now, it's best known for three very fine Messier objects, all open clusters. And they also make a group of four if you come down in here to Gemini with M35. So up here in Auriga, we get 36, 37, and 38. Now, M37 is the finest of those three. It's about magnitude 5.6. And it's by far the nicest one to see, I would say, in a pair of binoculars, and a telescope. It looks great as well. Now, that one is called the salt and pepper cluster. Right, so I'm not sure why, but maybe a different sprinkling there of salt and pepper, I guess. And it's just a little bit outside the line here for this side, on the west side of Auriga. And so, or the east side, west side. Okay, so it's just outside the line here, and we'll go from there. That's what I look. I always look for these two stars, pick a spot in the middle, and then just come outside a bit with the binoculars, and there it is there. And quite often I'll step outside, especially if I hadn't done any observing during the day. It might have been cloudy. If it's clear at night in wintertime, I'll just step out on the deck with binoculars and pick those three out, and probably the M35 as well. Now let's take a look at how far apart they are. So here's the your Telrad circle in here. And 37, bring that up into here. See, 36 and 37. 36 is just inside the constellation. And they're just under 4 degrees apart. So I can just barely get them on the edge of my 15 by 63 binoculars, which is about a 3.7 degree field of view. I'd have to move it around just a little bit to get them both in there. All right, so this one is called the pinwheel cluster. And I don't see any pinwheels in there, but it doesn't look as full, as many stars there as the M37 does. Now the tougher one is up in here, M38. Right, and it's a little bit dimmer. M36 is magnitude 6, and M38 is 6.4. So a little bit dimmer, but it's also spread out a bit more. So it's got less surface brightness. So if you get any hazy clouds in there at all, you're going to have a hard time seeing it with binoculars. Right, but it does look very, very nice when you do get it. And I can get maybe these two, 37 and 36, in my 10 by 30 Canon binos. And with Pentax 8 by 42s, they have a 7.5 degree field of view. So I can get all three of them in there in one view, which is a pretty neat thing to see like that. Now, right near, get rid of that. Right near M38 is a dimmer one, magnitude 8.4 or something. It's NGC 1907. And so if you're in there with a telescope, just shift down this way a little bit, and there you are. Now we come up a little higher. We have a couple of open clusters in here. This one's NGC 1857. It's about magnitude 7, so you can pick that up in binoculars. And NGC 1778 up in here, that's about magnitude 7.7. A little bit dimmer, but you can still within reach of binoculars. Yeah, we come down here. Paul, have you done this one yet? IC 405, Flaming Star Nebula.
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, this one is, I often see this in astrophotography that's coming up. Let's see if we can pick out a bit of it here. You see it a lot.
Oh, what nebula is it?
It's Flaming Star Nebula. I see.
Oh, yeah, I've done that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you see quite a bit. And let's see, down in here, there's a nice asterism.
Well, yeah. What do you call that one?
Well, if you click on this to see what the name is, it'll say the flying minnow. I've read it's the leaping minnow.
So my Bino Bud target calls it the leaping minnow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've always seen it before, except here in so let me bring this up. There.
Yeah.
You can see the leaping minnow in there.
Yeah.
And where he's leaping to, you were just down by it, that where the Caldwell or C417 is down there. That's right at the bottom of the smiley face.
Yep, and I'm coming there.
There you go.
Right. Okay, so down in here, we have another cluster, NGC 1893. And this one has another common name. By the way, M38 is called the starfish cluster. So maybe that's where the minnow is going.
Could be.
So this one is called
Letter Y?
Yeah, letter Y. Why not?
Why not?
Right, and from there, let's see if we can go over and bring it out here a bit. And we'll come into here. There's IC 417. I can't read that. Right up in the top there.
Spider Nebula.
Oh, right. That's right. That's why I got ahead of myself, because last month on Bino Bud, I'll get rid of these numbers so we can see them better. And yeah, get rid of that. Here we go. Last month on Bino Bud. It was a smile. You see it in here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's the mouth, there's the eyes. And I mentioned there's one that looks just like it in Cygnus, which Paul's probably image, but he maybe doesn't know it yet.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it makes a nice smile. To me, that looks like a frog's face.
Yeah.
Frog's got a big smile on his face. And there's a reason the frog is smiling, because, well, he's hungry. And right there is the Spider Nebula. And for dessert is NGC 1931, which is the Fly Nebula. So you get the spider and the fly in there, and the froggy's going to have his lunch, right?
That's
And what's that, Froggy? You're on mute there, Froggy. What are you saying? Hi, Curly Frog here. Today, Auriga is brought to you by the numbers 36, 37, and 38, and the letter Y. Yeah!
Yay!
Yeah, that's Auriga.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that the flaming star is actually quite a structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot up in that area.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Pair of binoculars, there's a lot up there. Chris, you're muted.
Well, we're doing the outreach stuff that the
Pop it earlier.
36, 37, 38 tend to be pretty popular to look at.
Yeah.
Thanks, Curt. Awesome. Lots to look at there, and right time of year for it. Okay. How about a Rosanna's fun fact next, maybe?
All right.
Then we're going to talk a little bit about the Geminids, Curt, before we go to photos, maybe.
All right. Let me just share my screen, see if I've got this correct this time. And we're going to do, did I share it yet? Yeah.
Yeah, we see big red line.
All right. This is this week's.
That's fun fact.
Hello, Rosanna. Welcome back for another absolutely wonderful fun fact by our friend, Rosanna Armstrong. Okay, let's get right into it. So Rosanna writes, hi, Paul. November has some headlines in the realm of space wows. On November the 14th, a deep space experiment traveling on NASA's Psyche spacecraft beamed a message via laser to Earth from far beyond the moon for the first time. This is an achievement that could be transformed. This is an achievement that could transform how spacecraft communicate. In the farthest ever demonstration of this type of optical communication, the Deep Space Optical Communications, or DSOC, beamed the near-infrared laser encoded with test data from its position around 16 million kilometers, or 10 million miles away, which is around 40 times further than the moon is from the Earth, to the Hale telescope at Caltech's Palomar Observatory in California. That's that, by the way. So this is a gold-capped light laser transceiver back in 2022 being attached to the Psyche. The DSOC is a 2-year tech demonstration riding along Psyche as it makes its way to its prime target, the asteroid Psyche. The demo achieved first light on November the 14th, according to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or JPL, which manages both missions, thanks to an incredibly precise maneuver that saw laser transceiver lock onto JPL's power uplink laser beacon as at Table Mountain, at its Table Mountain Observatory, which allowed the DSOC's transceiver to aim its downlink laser at Caltech's observatory 130 kilometers or 100 miles away. The advantage of laser beams is that that much more data can be packed into much tighter waves. This is huge news, especially in regards to sending humans to Mars. Headline number 2. Many space news outlets have a picture of the month. The James Webb Space Telescope November picture reveals a newly forming double protostar. Now, this gorgeous November pick of the month from NASA, ESA, and CSA, James Webb Space Telescope reveals intricate details of the Herbig-Haro object number 797, HH797, or the Herbig-Haro objects are luminous regions surrounding newborn stars, known as protostars, and they are formed when stellar winds or jets of gas spewing from these newborn stars form shock waves, colliding with nearby gas and dust at high speeds. HH797, which dominates the lower half of this image, is located close to the young open star cluster IC348 near the eastern edge of Perseus dark cloud complex. The bright infrared objects in the upper portion of the image are thought to host further protostars. The colors in the image come from different molecules present in gas clouds. Not only are there molecular hydrogen and carbon monoxide, but there is also iron, methane, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, a potential building block of life. And fun fact, an HH object usually only lasts around 10,000 years, which in space is a proverbial blink of an eye. The third headline, wow, also comes from the James Webb Space Telescope. In the universe, if the universe is a gift, James Webb Space Telescope is unwrapping it for us. This dazzling image from the Space Telescope shows a star-forming region, Sagittarius C, a 50 light year wide section of a densely populated center of the Milky Way galaxy. The image, worth full screening, which is what we're seeing here now, shows an estimated 500,000 stars captured in near-infrared wavelengths. James Webb Space Telescope was already world famous for stunning images like this, and is now the subject of an IMAX documentary, Deep Sky, that will be a spectacular film and well worth a trip to Halifax. I couldn't find an upcoming date for it in Halifax, but it is playing in Victoria, British Columbia, and at the Saskatchewan Science Center this weekend. Now, only if I had a personal jet. You can find a movie trailer here, and you can just look it up, and there is a movie trailer for it, so you can see what that is all about. And that's basically the cover for it there. An experience, 13 billion light years in the making, and directed by Nathaniel Kane, or Khan, and narrated by Michelle Williams. And so that's what so look for that. If you can find that anywhere in your area, it's a worthwhile visit. Now, a quick jaunt to the land down under. The Australian Space Agency is inviting Australians to help choose a name for the country's first homemade moon rover, which will fly to the moon through a partnership with NASA as soon as 2026. The agency asked thousands of people and schools to take part in the contest to come up with the best name for the future moon vehicle, whittling them down to a short list of 4 names. First one being Mateship, second one being Rover, and the indigenous words Kakaria and Kulawan. And Aussies can now vote for their favorite. So which name would you choose? Perhaps we should put the final choice to a popular cartoon character, Australia's first dog on the moon. And that is this week's.
That's fun fact.
Hey. Awesome.
Always interesting, always interesting. He
Mm.
comes up with the most amazing stuff. But it's very cool what the James Webb Space Telescope is revealing to us.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
It's just like turning a page in history right now, I think, we're,
Yeah. It's like going through all the chapters we've gone through and discovering all new stuff that we overlooked.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
It's amazing. We are getting there. Okay, thank you, Rosanna. What a fantastic topic. Curt, let's talk a little bit about the Geminids coming up. They're
Okay,
coming up this week, right? So,
Geminid is probably one of the 2 best meteor showers during the year, except every 33 years or so, we might get a really good one from the Leonids. Actually, I like the Geminids better. They tend to be a little bit slower and sometimes have a little golden color to them. So it's not, you have a better chance to catch one if it's moving a little bit slower like that.
mhm.
And under ideal conditions, you have a zenith hour rate, maybe 2 per minute, but don't expect to get that. Usually, if I can see 20 an hour on a decent night, I'm happy. And sometimes you can get, I've seen up to 60 an hour or more. And one thing that people don't like to do is go out to see the Geminids. For some reason, they prefer the Perseids because it's a little bit colder. And so you have to be careful when you do go out. Dress very, very warm. And I'm just going to watch it from the back deck. I don't have that great a view out there, but if I want to come in for a coffee or warm up or something like that, I more often go to the bathroom at my age. It's a very short trip to go. And that's in wintertime, it's nice to do indoors. So it comes from Castor. So you think of Gemini there. When it's coming up in the early evening, you got just to the left of Orion, you got Gemini, and the 2 bright stars are Castor and Pollux. Castor's the one at the top, and the radiant for that is right in that area. And one good thing about the Geminids is that we do have the radiant in the sky in the early evening, whereas the Perseids and say the Leonids, it's much later in the evening before they're rising like that. Right. So by after midnight, or you get up in the morning, and Gemini is up in the zenith, or maybe starting to even tip down a little bit. So we can see more of the meteors coming because it's up above the horizon early in the evening like that. So when you go out, make yourself comfortable. Get something to lie back on. You get a lawn chair or something like that folds back. Like that. You don't want to look right at the radiant. You want to look maybe 30, 40 degrees either side of it, or maybe above it or below, whatever happens to be there. Now, if you're in an urban area, get street lights around, just look in some direction where the lights aren't directly in your eyes. And it's good to have, if you're away from home, take some warm drinks with you, maybe a snack to keep you awake. Really recommend not doing that alone, particularly this time of year. Have somebody there with you. It's always nice to share the experiences anyway. And 2 people could be looking in different directions, and you can count your meteors together to see what you get.
Yeah.
And so they're slow, so they tend to be easier to catch. And with the radiant down low like that, you might catch some of the ones that are streaking through the top of the atmosphere, and they got that long trail on them like that. So they're beautiful ones to catch. So the peak this year, according to the Observer's Handbook, is middle of the afternoon on Thursday. So Thursday morning would be a good time to go out. Thursday evening would be good, and Friday morning. So we got to catch the peak in around there. If it's going to be cloudy, usually one day before or one day after as well, you might hit maybe half the rate, which is still going to be very, very good. Much better than the peak of most other meteor showers. And these ones come from, I mentioned earlier there about the story of Auriga. Phaethon, the guy that was the son of Apollo. And Geminid's been known for a while, but they didn't know what comet was starting it. Well, they discovered this asteroid, Phaethon. They call it Phaethon. Its number is 3200. And it comes from outside the orbit of Mars, inside the orbit of Mercury when it comes to perihelion, and back out again. It comes around fairly soon. Right. So because that was coming in close to the sun, I sort of put them in mind of Phaethon, where he was driving the sun and sort of things got bad like that. So it's not really comet, but as it gets closer to the sun, it gets up to about 600 Celsius. And that causes some of the part of it to break apart into little pebbles. And it's those little pebbles that we get running in our atmosphere as Earth is moving along in that same path, or cutting across the path of Phaethon. And the little pebbles, a lot of the meteors you see are just little dust particles. If you get one a little bit bigger, like a pebble, that's going to give you a brighter meteor. Now, it might be a little bit slower, which we'd maybe cut down on the brightness, but between the speed it is going and the size of the pebbles, we can get some that are fireballs there.
So how do they determine, like, I know they say some years, you're going to have a better show than other years. Is there a way that they determine that?
Well, with this one, I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but with that, the Phaethon has sitting around fairly quickly. I forget, it's every few years. I can't remember what its orbit is there. So it's replenishing the orbit, quite a bit. With the other ones, they can go back and look at previous ones, and there's going to be patches of along the orbit. And so you get a periodic comet coming around like that, and everything's going to spread out, but you're still going to get thicker patches in particular areas where the comet was at a particular time. And working back through the orbits like that, they can tell which areas of the orbit some of these patches will be. And so if there's one of them that's coming in close to the sun now, that's going to have a greater density of the pebbles in there. And so they can predict whether we're going to see more meteors like that.
So
they're not always correct, but they can watch for.
So this one, are they saying?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chris.
I was just wondering if they're saying much for this one, or
this one's fairly steady though.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's good about this one, as you mentioned before, that we have a new moon tomorrow or Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we get like a 2-day moon, which will be setting very early. So there's no moonlight in the sky to wash it out. That makes for seeing a lot more of the meteors, especially the fainter ones.
So you're better off to wait.
This year is good.
Are you better off to wait till after midnight, or would you go before midnight, like 8 o'clock or so? Or
well, it depends on your routine, or if you have to get up and go to work. Young kids might want to go out early in the evening with their family to see if you can get some. You're not going to get a whole lot. But usually, the ones you get in the early evening are going to be those longer trailing ones. After midnight, Earth is rotated toward the sun like that, or toward the where the meteors are coming from. That's the path of the Earth. So we get the combination of Earth's rotational velocity with the velocity of the meteors coming in. So together, they're going to come in faster, which means they're going to be brighter.
so you talk rotational
As I
velocity.
said, Gemini is going to be up high in the morning, and the late evening is going to be high. So we get to see meteors coming from all directions.
You were talking about rotational velocity as if the Earth was a globe, right?
Yeah. So I forgot about that.
So you're saying that this meteor shower is named after an asteroid, not a comet, like tail?
No, this one's named after all the meteors. Most of the meteor showers are named after the constellation that the radiant is in.
Okay, yeah, but what caused it?
It's coming from it. Yeah, it's coming from. Well, that's an asteroid comet.
Okay,
It's both an asteroid name and number, and comet number.
because I wanted to let people know. I know that recently the three of us have been recognized for this being named, having an asteroid named after us, and you, my good man, are a member of that group as well.
Yeah.
a little ahead of us, but I just want to let people know here's another
So
fella
welcome to,
from
welcome to
St.
the
John
solar
that's
system.
part of the club.
Yeah, that's right. So what's yours called, Curt?
Nason, 10052 Nason.
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 Is it the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter too, or?
It's, yeah, it's in the main belt. I'm not sure just how far yours is out. Mine might be, roughly the same area, but mine's a little bit, maybe 260 meters shorter than yours.
Okay.
Ah.
Oh.
Size doesn't matter.
Yeah, but they're both still big. They're both over 6 kilometers wide. So
Yeah.
No,
But
well,
you
anyway,
didn't-
we were talking about that, and then, because with all this hoopla that was going around for us, and we get a guy that this happened to before, and we thought, people should know about that because it was a big deal for us, and I'm sure it was a big deal for you.
you never get over it either. Every now and then hit you. Geez, I got my name up in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, somebody had mentioned me putting out a press release, but I really didn't want that to happen. Actually, I write that monthly column with the Telegraph Journal, which is in all the New Brunswick dailies there now. So like the month after that, I had an article in on the asteroid. It is mainly about how you name asteroids, but I use mine as an example.
Yeah.
And-
Right on.
And among the 36 that had asteroids named for them in that group was Clint Eastwood.
Oh, awesome.
No way.
I put that
Oh.
one in as well. Now, if you're in my garage, you see, if you're inside looking toward the door, on one side of the door, I've got a picture of me taken from, I think it was from an article or an interview with I think it was for the Perseids. They came by and took some pictures to go with the newspaper article. So you got that one there. I'm looking through, looking up in the sky like in the daytime, looking for meteors with a telescope there. On the other side, I've got a woodcut of a Clint Eastwood as Josie Wales. Before the asteroids.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, the good thing, Curt, is that you have the mineral rights to yourself, right? I could have split it with these two guys, so.
Yeah, that's right. That's great. Yeah, if
Yeah, I'm gonna go up there and mine for mineral oil.
It's funny. I went to see my doctor there last week, and of course he brought it up, and he said, with all the technology we have down here on Earth, why can't we just take a laser and aim it at whatever it is you guys got named, and then have them etch your name in the rock? I said, well, if you move it just a little bit one way, you're probably going to go a few 100 million miles out of LA. So
This is going to be an earth killer.
anyway, it was funny.
You gonna image it, Paul?
Huh?
You gonna try to image it?
Gonna try.
Yeah, once it's
next summer.
visible, we'll see if we can find it. I
Yeah.
think it'd be interesting. Is yours visible as well, Curt?
Around 12, something like that, about the same, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, mine's a little bit brighter than yours, I think, because it's a
Oh,
little
okay.
bit closer. Yeah, I'm closer than you are.
Yeah.
So
Ours
we'd
is-
be able to see, like, once we figure out the section of the sky that yours is in, then we'd be able to track it, should we?
You just track it on stellarium.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing. I mean, to actually see it with the naked eye.
It's just gonna be
A
I've
dot.
got that 13-inch scope here. Once I get that up and running, I think I'll maybe try it. It's a little bit beyond, I could probably theoretically pick it up with an 8-inch, but I really need dark sky and a really good star map.
Yeah.
Make it easier with something bigger.
So
But
if you
wouldn't
had
that be a
pictures of
thrill to
sky,
actually
make
have
report
the-
after. Sorry.
Wouldn't that be a thrill to have the photons of that light from that thing that you were named for come down and actually be able to see it in your eye?
And it'd probably blow up and blind me. So. Worth one eye.
We're getting off topic.
Well, you have the other one, and one to remind you of it, right?
Do you have a photograph of yours? Because I'm
No.
sure they were photographed at some point somewhere, even if it's just a dot moving in the sky. I'd like to find out where we could hunt
Oh,
down
yeah.
a photograph from the observatories that took it, or
Yeah, they would have that.
so.
You-
I've been
can you
trying to search
request
their
that?
databases with no luck.
Can you request that, Curt?
I never tried.
Well, you can request anything, you may not get an answer.
Yeah, mine was from La Silla in the Canary Islands.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd
I think
be
in
awesome.
Japan, I
It
think,
really,
yeah.
it would. It'd be awesome. But yeah, so here, all four of us, eh? And that's something.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or you could also do, like St. Mary's has the robotic observatory there. I think
yeah.
that's maybe a 20-inch or at least a 16. So you can just log onto that and maybe get a shot.
I wonder if the Burt Gaffney Observatory would be able to get it.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I was talking about in St. Mary's.
Oh, it's in, oh, sorry, okay, yeah.
We got a Tim Doucette observatory as well that might be able to get it down there in Clinton.
Yeah, Tim's got that big 14-inch down there.
Once it
Nice
comes
dark
around the sun,
skies.
let's like, think first, I guess.
Yeah, we get around to Sagittarius.
Yeah.
It's over there by Scorpius or something right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just share one photo here before we move on. Curt mentioned about the flaming star, because I didn't hear him first time, and then he said, that's what I said, the flaming star. Anyway, so that's it. Can you see it?
Yep.
It's on fire.
Good
Yeah.
shot.
So that's the flaming star nebula. There's actually a bunch of, if you look in the center where this star is right here, and I didn't get it because I didn't use an oxygen 3 filter on there, but there's a whole bunch of reflection nebula that sits right in around there as well. So it's a project that I've really never finished because I only had a one-shot color camera when I shot that. But now that I got the monochrome, I'll be able to actually to get that oxygen separate. So, but anyway, that's the flaming star. It's pretty cool.
Nice. All right, thanks, Curt. So yeah, get Geminids this weekend, or actually this week, Thursday into Friday. We'll put a post up about that a little bit later too. Okay, let's get to some photos now, so we can close out the show. I'm going to share screen, probably going to be this one right here. Should bring it up.
Oh, look at that.
You good there?
Moon like an apple.
Okay, so this first photo comes in from Bridget Green. Now, Bridget had this photo into me just before last week's show, actually. She only had my phone on Wednesday, November 29th, while at Rockwood Park, but thought I'd send in this shot of a waning gibbous moon over Lily Lake with a flock of ducks in the background or foreground. I couldn't identify the ducks because, as luck would have it, I also forgot my binoculars at home. But still a nice shot.
Yeah, really nice.
Thanks, Bridget.
M11.
This next one comes from Duckman Arsenault. We get back here in the size. Here we are. We got a Moon and Venus shot. Of course, they were hanging out together this week.
That looks like the west side, is
Hmm.
that our crane?
There's cranes down there, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got this one from Winston Coke from. Oh well, that's not Winston. Hang on now. This is from Duckman again as well. Sorry. This capture of the moon, crescent moon. Oh, well, they're large, and there we go. This one's from Winston. Sunrise in Bathurst, he says.
Nice. Look at that beautiful sky, eh?
Mm.
Yeah. So
That's
there he's got, that's
favorite.
Spica sitting there, Spica and Venus over here. That was a nice, pretty picture the other day.
Very nice.
He's keeping large and on me.
Matthew.
Matthew Dupre's capture. He said, "Hey Chris, here's my latest capture of the Rosette Nebula. It's about an hour and a half total exposure time, using 45-second subs taken with my Celestron 9 1/4 with Hyperstar and an ASI 260C Pro. Beautiful capture.
Yeah, very nice. Nice work.
Really nice work. Well done. Thanks for that. Keeping large on me. Jeff Pendlebury. Venus and the Crescent Moon, pre-sunrise, Victoria Park, Charlottetown. Sunday, November the 9th on or Saturday, November 9th, 2023. So that was a nice picture.
Yeah.
I got a number of them here coming up. This is from Glenn Ketchum. Thanks for making me take a look, he says. You can barely see Venus in the picture, but it's there. It was clearly visible to my eye, so it was there. Nice shot there, Glenn.
Yeah, really nice.
I'm going to move on now to Denise Marcel. Thanks for the heads up, she says. She caught it as well with Spica down below there. And another one here from Suzanne. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, no, this is Chelsea. Yes, it is Chelsea Connors. Just got to get my order here, right? She said it was beautiful. And it was pretty. Another capture here from Faye Gutro. My daughter took this pic early this morning. She said while walking her dog at Duck Cove, it's
Oh,
a bit
nice.
difficult to see from this picture, but she said she was seeing it in the mist on the water, and it was eerie.
Wow.
Nice.
And Adam Palmer's picture. No, this is another Chelsea Connor. Sorry, here comes Adams. No, that's Faye Gutro. I'm getting mixed up here. Okay, that's Faye Gutro's picture. Now I'll go on. There's Adam's picture, Venus and the Moon.
Yeah, morning,
Oh,
it was just
cool.
burning.
Another one here from Gary Cole. He said, I wish I could capture it, but cell phones are tough. I mean, some of the phones are getting better at it, but you got a little ways to go on some of them, but still thanks for sending it in, Gary.
Is that
Where's
palm
he at?
trees?
See the tree? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Palm trees.
Yeah, yeah.
Not here.
I'd be more concerned about those, yeah. Nice view.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This one's from Mary Lou Conley. She said, my phone doesn't get a very good pic either, but it was beautiful. And from there, I'm going to go to this one from Deanna. Yeah, Deanna Merrithew King.
Nice crescent.
Another one here from Danny Brown, sorry. Right in the center of the tree there.
Yes, Venus in the branch.
Edith McCormick. A lot of people were catching that up. Jan Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to see so many people out having a look. There's Brad Perry's view. He said that's 709 from his driveway. And Luella Doyle.
That's nice.
Keep going here where I'm at. Right here. Okay, so Suzanne McKillop is next, I believe. Another capture of it. Venus there sparkling, eh?
Mm.
Another one here from Natalie Lane Tank. She says, I didn't get Venus yesterday, but caught some Earth shine. So she did for sure. There's the spike down below it.
Looks like ET.
Hmm.
Oh no.
Eric Grand Maison says Venus and the Moon with a cargo jet flying through the shot.
There you go.
Nicely done. Jeff Pendlebury's shot. Looking for a sunrise at Victoria Park in Charlottetown and ended up with this image, he says.
Sure.
Nice. That sky.
Yeah. Cassidy Templeton sent us this one. Snapped these this morning. Said, I don't normally get a good pic of the moon, but I've been playing around with my camera lately. There you go. It's working out for you. From there to Mike Hicks, New Brunswick. He said, credit to my friend LJ Nearing. Too many clouds here in Kamloops, he said. So he couldn't catch it, but he shared a view from New Brunswick.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. Nice.
Nice shot. This one's from Tala Andre. Together. This one comes from Cobes. I'll say it Kobzkie. Cobes Zaki. He follows my page. He's from the Philippines. So you can see the different arrangement from the Philippines,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah. Look at how the moon's sitting.
It's kind of nice, this big smiley face on it.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mike Powell, the daytime shot.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
You could actually catch Venus in the daytime. I told people, get your binoculars. This will be the one chance you have to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Spot the moon and then look up and Venus will be right there.
There, yeah.
Wow. It's pretty much it's actually brighter, isn't it?
Yeah, that was taken at 9 o'clock and Venus is brighter than the moon. Yeah, the sliver.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Wow. Nice.
This one as well, Paul, Mike.
Yeah, that one was at 6 in the morning.
6 in the morning. Okay.
Yeah, not
wow.
sunny yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That was just the moon. Yeah, at 6 in the morning.
What a nice phase though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Let me get my him here. Wonder who this is from. Let me think.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that now? The bubble.
Here's the narrow band capture. Center is a bubble nebula. Lower right is the Cassiopeia salt and pepper cluster. Lower left is the Northern Lagoon Nebula, all in the constellation of Cassiopeia.
Yeah, there's lots going on there, isn't there?
Yeah. Image an SHO palette for nebulosity and RGB for stars. Techscope, stellar view, SVT 105 triplet. Camera was a ZWO ASI 2600. Filters, mount, Skywatcher AEQ6R Pro Gem. Software was Acquisitions SGP. Guiding PhD 2, stacking and post-processing with PixInsight. Total integration time, 1 hour, each narrow band filter for a total of 3 hours. It's 70% humidity, so pretty good for that.
Yeah, it come out pretty nice for a low resolution picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Low resolution? I'd hate to see high resolution.
What's that cluster right there, Paul?
That's that salt and pepper cluster.
Okay, that's it there, yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cluster sitting right next to the bubble. I've always wanted to capture them both in the same field of view. And then
Yeah,
when I looked at my field of view and to be able to get that northern lagoon, it was just like, oh, bonus again.
yeah, awesome.
So,
A lot
Yeah.
going on there.
yeah, there is.
This one too.
Yeah, that's
In a few months, Rusty, he said, but I had to get out and shoot. Rusty, yeah, it looks like you're rusty there. Bit rusty, yeah.
yeah,
Heart
that's,
Nebula.
Malat 15. That's in the center. And of course, that's the heart of the Heart Nebula itself. I didn't have enough field of view to catch the fish head. So, but if you look all the way to the right, to the bottom, you can start to see part of the fish head right there.
Hmm.
And that goes out. It looks like a big fish.
Hmm.
That's actually the tip of the Heart Nebula. They call it the fish head. But the main focus there was that those dark dust lanes and all that stuff. And that's narrowband as well. And the reason that I chose narrowband for that is because with the 3 different filters, you can actually see more detail in the different parts of that structure. So
Right. Amazing. Good shot, Paul.
thanks.
Good stuff, buddy. Okay, and you have any photos to share with us? Send them in to astronomybythebay@gmail.com. We love getting your photos. We love sharing them, as you can see. So send them in.
Yes, sir.
Well, gentlemen, I think that's a show tonight.
Yeah.
Show for this evening. We hope that you enjoyed the program tonight. Special thanks again to our guest, Curt Nason, for joining us this evening. Thanks, Curt.
See you next month.
See you next.
Hopefully.
Right.
Okay.
On next week's program, we're going to bring up a few special guests to talk about next week. It's about a special balloon project for the total eclipse coming up in April. So there's a team in, where are they, Florenceville, Paul?
You're up the Florenceville, Bristol area.
They're going to send a balloon up above the clouds. So we'll get a view of the total solar eclipse from above whatever is happening here. Hopefully,
Yeah.
no, but anyway, if there is cloud, we'll be able to
Yeah.
get a view of the solar eclipse. And so they're going to walk us through the process of what they've had to do to get this thing organized. And it's quite a lengthy process.
Yeah.
A lot of details in it. So we're going to bring those guests on next week. So that's going to be great to bring them on the show and we'll chat about that. Of course, we are, getting very close to the date now. So January, February, March, we're only 4 months away.
Yeah, it's coming quick.
Gonna come fast. Okay, the special thanks goes out to Rosanna once again for fabulous fun facts. Thank you, Rosanna. Always a pleasure to have you contribute to the show. We do love sharing your photos too, remember. So just get them into astronomybythebay@gmail.com. Hopefully, I'll be done this cold by next week. We'll be happy to share them on our next broadcast. Now, special thanks again to our friends at Rogers this evening for sharing our program with us. So until next week, guys, wishing you all clear skies. As we like to say, open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes. But up.
Go way up and I'll call Rusty.
I need a second here to get myself ready.
And this show tonight was brought to you by the 4 asteroid people.
Oh,
Nice try.
and you thought my Bino Bud picture was bad.
Oh, man, that picture's gonna go viral, I guarantee it.
Wait till next week.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us.